Hey there, marketers and influencers and mentors of the new age. I wanted to go over real quick some features on Facebook that have popped up uh, within the past year, some of them within the past few weeks, actually. Um, a lot of you are aware of the power of Facebook pages and Facebook groups if you are a mentor or an influencer or a guider of sorts. So there have been some advancements in features that are available to Facebook groups. One of them within the past year or two, the Facebook social learning feature. If you're not aware of what that is, here let me show you real quick. So this is a Facebook social learning group. Um, and I have it set up for my Library of Consciousness. This is a group that I set up to land directly on the social learning feature. This is called the units feature right here. And you can make all sorts of sections and put any type of content you want on it. Think of it like a Udemy or a LinkedIn Learning or Lynda type course, but you can do a lot more than videos and downloads. You could have links from across the web. You could have articles that you write on or off of Facebook. You can have text posts. You can have images, anything you want. You can set up the units to link to each other, or like in this group example, all the units are separate entities, different topics. And I have several groups where the units flow together, like units on Lynda or LinkedIn Learning. This one, I think of it almost like different topics, like going to a library, different sections with different niche topics in a niche topic, almost like nesting eggs, or sorry, nesting dolls. And this feature is the social learning feature. This one has been around for a couple of years now, but it's been getting more and more advanced, especially the past 6 months. I've seen all sorts of things go from like here, I think some of the units in this group are, yeah, they're all converted over. Now you can share the units as a whole, so they show up on a feed, whether it's a personal feed or a page, as the entire unit. And people can go right to the unit in there, and you can also share specific things as well from these. So you can share individual things to a page or other groups or your personal Facebook page. This looks drastically different than the Facebook groups than you may be familiar with if you've had no experience with the social learning platform. But over here under the discussion tab, here you go. This is as you're used to, the conversation type Facebook group with the community aspect. And this is where Q&As can happen and group sharing and all that kind of stuff, as you're familiar with Facebook groups. And this is what most people use, but if you're an advanced Facebook user, you may have already started to dabble with the unit section. In some groups, the newer ones, they're lessons. It's labeled as lessons instead. They roll out the updates in waves. So if you start this up, it may be lessons or labeled differently. Let me show you real quick how you would set that up. So let's go. I think it's under the More tab. Let me see. Edit group settings. Yeah, so if you edit the group settings, you can change things like the group icon and the name of the group and the description. Up here you have group type. So if you go to change, now they've changed this quite a bit. There are a lot more options. Now they've generalized it down to 4 major ones, all the ones that have different features. So now you just have the general one, which almost everyone uses with Facebook groups: buy and sell, which were a lot more popular before the Facebook Marketplace, but is very powerful in its own right. The gaming groups, which, unless you're an influencer in video games, this may not be very interesting to you. But if you're a mentor or a teacher or some sort of influencer that helps people grow and improve themselves or their skills, this one, you definitely need to look into this one. The social learning group is that option. Then you set that up, and then you have the units or lessons tab available in your group. And as you can see down here, you can add these things on there that way. Even if you don't have necessarily a social learning group, you can add these features in there. So you got the social learning units, so you enable them down here. And also you can see this one's a new one. So this one came out within the past couple of weeks. I've been waiting for this feature to roll out, I think since last summer. So summer of 2018 is when I first started hearing about this. And I first started seeing it pop up in select groups to pilot it last fall and winter. And I've been waiting for this to roll out to everyone. And here it is, the mentorship. Now, this is especially useful if you're a mentor. And this is what it looks like, essentially. So you have, I look at it as like a little mini LinkedIn. So you have your own group of influence, and you can have your own profile on here of people who are looking to be mentored right here. People who are mentors will show up in here, and you have your mentorship profile that you can make. And if you come to my Library of Consciousness, if you go to consciousness.com, that will take you, I think that's spelled right. If not, just spell check anything I do. That should take you right to this group on Facebook to ask it to join. And of course, I typoed it, so bear with me. Library of Consciousness as it's properly spelled. So do what I'm not doing here and spell check it. And that libraryofconsciousness.com will bring you right here. And you can check out the social learning and the mentorship features in Facebook groups, available to all Facebook groups. If you want some guidance on how to set this up, please feel free to reach out to me, comment on this, send me a message, or come into my Library of Consciousness and ask me to mentor you and tell me you want to know how to set this up in your group. I will be helping any influencer get the ball rolling. Anyone who wants to help themselves and is willing to do, put in the elbow grease to do the work, I will freely give the knowledge to do this. So free consulting on this, because it's all about, building alliances, building partnerships. So please feel free to come in and get help with that. These features are very, very powerful, and they will only continue to get more powerful. There are so many ways that you can use all of these features. I have a lot of examples of how we can use the social learning features from, let's see, like this one. This one is actually a network of groups. So I set up this social learning group, and if you go into the different sections, you can go to other groups that are linked within this group. So it's a one-stop shop for groups under the YCHTT brand for people who like esoteric type of knowledge. whether or not you believe in this kind of stuff is, up to anyone, but I love learning about anything. The obscure and the different are quite interesting to expand our cup for empathy, but there are a lot of options that you can do, a lot of creative ways that we can use the learning or units tab in Facebook groups, whether it's to link groups together to keep those niche audiences. That way you don't have a lot of overlap like we're seeing in these bloated Facebook groups that get thousands and thousands and thousands of people. Because as if you've read The Art of Gathering, an event planner breaks down the science of how humans gather, and we need to keep that active member size somewhere between 100 to 150 people max, or else it gets bloated and it becomes, a mass mob that either can't be actively involved without threatening control of the leaders, or people just feel left out. So a lot of these things are people are learning firsthand through trial and error, a lot of error. So breaking this down has been really, really important to me. I'm really passionate about helping people gather online, bridging good gathering techniques that work offline into online so that we can fight against this conditioning of digital culture that is brainwashing us to divide amongst each other. So figuring out how to bridge that gap is my primary focus. So if you want any advice on how to set up your own Facebook group to optimize social learning and mentorship features, or if you just need, help giving yourself a crash course, I have all the resources you need to get up to speed on this kind of stuff for any type of group, whether it's, marketing like this one, or whatever it is. There are a lot of features that are available to you, no matter if you have a few units or, like this group has 3 units. This is part of the DIY group network that I created, or whether or not you have, dozens of units like my Library of Consciousness does. This is how I keep track of all the things that I care about or interested in, things I'm learning, but there are a lot of things we can do. One of I think the most underutilized features. This isn't a new one necessarily, but it's definitely something I think is underused. Is the recommended by the admins feature. So this shows up with for members in the discussion area. So if you're an admin of a group, you're not really going to see the recommended by up here. But for users of a Facebook group, they're going to see this quite often, not necessarily every single time they log in. But once they start becoming regular users, this will show up in the main discussion feed. So this is a very powerful way to, bridge other groups that you like or you run, and create a network of niche groups, alliances with other group leaders and admins, or just ways for people to learn about, your other brands. Like here, these are all ones that I manage, but these ones over here, these are all ones that I just fully support for their own areas in life. So if you're interested in learning about the Facebook lessons or units, the social learning feature, or the mentorship feature in Facebook, please feel free to reach out to me. And like I said, if you can get the spelling right, spelling is definitely not my strong suit, but if you do that, libraryofconsciousness.com. Let's see if I got it right this time. I did. Awesome. And that should take you right to here, and you'll be able to request, and I'll add you to it, and you can reach out to me, whether or not you want to send me a message directly, or reach out to me with the mentorship feature and give that a whirl. Please, please, please help yourself help others. And I am more than willing to help you get that knowledge that you need to take your Facebook audience to the next level. This is very valuable to mentors, to influencers, to scholars, to tutors, to people who are passionate about subjects that other people are passionate about, such as music, the arts, coding, engineering, sciences. These sorts of things are very, very valuable. I mean, pretty much anyone can do a library of consciousness for whatever they are, interested in. So I'm trying to start up your library of consciousness movement to help other people open source what they know, what they care about, what they're interested in. This is a really great way to bridge human relations so people, if they're willing to invest the time, can see what you're interested in and maybe even offer to help or ask you for help. And that's a great way to share knowledge that it feels, a lot like creating a YouTube playlist, honestly. That's what this felt like to me when I was setting this up, is making YouTube playlists. But the playlists can be a lot more than videos. They can be text, they can be links to other websites, all displayed in a way that we're used to on Facebook as users of Facebook. Articles, this is an article on Facebook. These are articles off of Facebook over at Medium. So if you want to superpower your audience, or maybe you haven't started your own digital audience and you want to know the best way to get started with tools that are available to you for free, please come our way and check out libraryofconsciousness.com, or search for My Library of Consciousness in the in the Facebook search up here, and seek us out. We are more than willing to guide you through teaching yourself how to better use the tools available to you as a teacher, as a guider, as a healer, as just a consultant of being whatever it is you love to be, and help you help other people. So thank you very much, and look forward to seeing you soon.